In a stunning revelation, U.S. intelligence has learned that Russia is considering turning over leaker Edward Snowden to the United States as a sort of gift to President Donald Trump. Highly sensitive intelligence reports say that Russia's deliberations about this are pointing in the direction of considering whether to send Snowden back to the U.S. And this is the idea, of course, that Russia is trying to maybe ingratiate themselves with Trump by doing this. It's been corroborated by multiple sources in the intelligence community. Donald Trump, of course, called Edward Snowden a spy, a traitor, and even tweeted back in October of 2013 that maybe Edward Snowden should be executed. Snowden's ACLU lawyer, Ben Wisner, told NBC News they're unaware of plans that would send Snowden back to the United States. Edward Snowden, though, saying, hey, guys, this confirms I'm not a Russian spy, since Russia would never give me up if I were actually a Russian spy. He sent out a couple of tweets, one saying, finally, irrefutable evidence that I never cooperated with Russian intel. No country trades away spies, as the rest would fear that they're next. He also said something similar to Katie Couric during a Yahoo News interview not that long ago. Let's take a look at that.
There is a lot of talk out there, including among top-ranking intelligence officials, that Vladimir Putin may hand you over to the United States as a goodwill gesture to the Trump administration. How concerned/nervous are you about that possibility?
I'm actually kind of encouraged.
Encouraged?
For completely different reasons. It wasn't so many years ago that people were saying, this guy's a Russian spy.
What would the implications be? Well, former Deputy National Security Advisor Juan Zarate says be cautious, because this could be a win-win for Russia. If they did get anything from Edward Snowden in terms of information, not that he was necessarily cooperating, but he has been there for a while, they already would have. And then they could also use this to gain further leverage over Donald Trump. We don't actually know how much leverage they have because we haven't seen Trump's taxes and because we're still in the process of confirming the contents of that Russian blackmail file. White House has no comment on this so far. The Justice Department said they would welcome Edward Snowden's return to the United States. You can be sure, Pat, that if Russia sends him back, no future informants will make similar deals to go to Russia as long as they're remotely smart.
I would imagine, though, that Russia may be more reluctant to send him back now because as the Trump-Russia story seems to be getting more credibility, that would just kind of play into the narrative that they were colluding together. So I could see them not wanting to do it in that case.
Well, there's another interpretation of why they might want to do it. And it goes beyond just, oh, they want to curry favor with Trump. Okay, maybe. I mean, that's pretty simplistic, and it would actually probably work because of who Donald Trump is. But they could also return Snowden to the U.S. to trigger protests, because you know that the second that Snowden is indicted and prosecution begins, because Snowden has huge support from many factions in the United States, it will cause yet another round of massive protests on the street. Think back to my interview last week with foreign relations and information warfare expert Molly McHugh. Check out her article, Putin's Real Long Game. The triggering of unrest and very visible unrest would be a really good reason for Russia to return Snowden to the U.S.
And it would be a terrible thing if Edward Snowden was extradited, given that not only has the president called for his execution, but also CIA Director Mike Pompeo.
Yeah, and aside from what your opinion is of Edward Snowden, and of course Edward Snowden as a leaker who was exposing things that were legal by statute, we can disagree with that, but not a whistleblower in the literal sense. The fact that numerous officials who are currently in power suggested that this guy should be killed, absolutely concerning. And it's not about the micro, it's about the macro here. Chaos, instability, the U.S. Being cast as unreliable, all creating a context where Vladimir Putin and Russia can be seen as more powerful, more clever on the international geopolitical stage. Today's show is made possible in part by Blue Apron. Not all ingredients are created equal. Fresh, high-quality ingredients make a really big difference, so it's important to know where your food comes from, which you would know with Blue Apron. You also get the exact right amount of each ingredient for the recipes you're cooking, so you don't end up throwing food away, which I absolutely hate doing. And for under $10 per person per meal, you can get easy to follow recipes with pre-portioned ingredients delivered. And because, again, Blue Apron ships the exact amount of each ingredient you need, you don't waste food. Some of the meals available this month include cashew chicken stir fry with tango mandarins and jasmine rice, udon noodle soup with miso and soft boiled eggs. I've got that one coming next week and I look forward to cooking it. And crispy barramundi with quinoa and roasted carrot salad. You can check out this week's menu, get your first 3 meals for free with free shipping by going to blueapron.com/Pakman. That's blueapron.com/PAKMAN.